Yo, what's up? What's up? I tried to do this on Facebook, but the stream kept pausing, so I'm gonna come to my backup for my jack up. What's up? What's up, Mr. Cardone? What's up? Thanks for the shares. Cheryl, you're awesome, dude. Okay. Mark Systems, what's up, buddy? Okay. Sherry, you're awesome. Thank you. Ship, thank you for the reshares. Sharing with your peeps. You know, guys, what I want to do. My name's Grant Cardone. If you don't know who I am, every day I bring you a stream either on Meerkat, Facebook, Blab, or Periscopies. I bring you a stream. Thanks for all the invites. Coffee for Closers, awesome. Mac Systems, thank you in Tulsa. Kirk Stoner, what's up? So look, I want to share with you this morning what I'm going to be doing for the next 5 minutes is sharing with you a chapter, the last chapter actually from my book Obsessed, before we start a rewrite and an edit. It's a lot of work. Mandy, thank you. Red Hot Naples, what's up? Rusty Glines, come on, man. So look, I'm talking today about how to sustain your healthy obsessions. How to purposely and intentionally sustain the growth and expansion of whatever it is you're trying to grow and expand. This is very, very difficult and a challenge for most people. For 32 years now, I guess, 20, 29, 30. I got to get my numbers right, man. 27 years. Red Hot Naples, thank you. Eli, thank you. For 27 years, I have been running my own businesses. Since the age of 20, that would be what? 37 years. I've had some kind of semblance of a business or entrepreneurship. The sustaining of a business, okay, the sustaining of healthy obsessions in order to continue to expand your business is vital to your business even surviving, much less making money. Forget making money for a second. Look, if you don't keep sustaining, like having interest in a focus on, hey, what are we going to do to sustain yesterday's progress, yesterday's growth, last month, last quarter? What are we going to do to sustain that and continue to add to it? Whatever happened yesterday is over. You know, it's a beautiful thing about life. It's a beautiful thing and a bad thing, all in one. What happened yesterday will not get you through tomorrow, and what happened yesterday won't keep you from doing tomorrow. So if you had a bunch of successes yesterday, last week, last month, last quarter, you guys got to tell people. You have to continue to tell your people internally at the management levels, mid-management, upper management, mid-management, and all the way down to employees. Every day, one way to sustain your growth and expansion, to keep the fire burning, is to continue to add on the successes of yesterday. Hey, great meeting you, Scott, at Roker. You got to add the successes of yesterday onto today, and you need to disregard, literally disregard, ignore, don't pay attention to the losses. All right, so it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. Disregard the losses of yesterday. You don't need to bring attention to them. You don't want to keep repeating them. And you need to magnify the wins and successes. Where the company is winning, where the relationship is winning, your marriage, it doesn't matter what it is. For instance, I'll give you an example. Every day in my office, we walk in, the first thing we talk about is successes of the company. People that are using my material, using our products. At the apartment complexes, I own about 4,000 apartments around the United States, soon to go to 10,000. We're constantly talking about who's happy in the apartments. Who's our new tenant? Who do we satisfy? How have we taken care of somebody? What are we doing new and edgy and innovative and creative that's helping people? In the book business, in the book and audio business, in the self-help division of my company, we're constantly talking about the successes of those people that are reaching our content. So the way to sustain is to make, number one, make a commitment. I'm going to sustain our growth. I'm going to sustain the fire that we've built, and we're going to keep adding wood to it every day. Adding wood for the successes, new employees, the expansion of the business, new attempts, new articles, new video content, anything and everything that your company is doing new innovation, new speaking engagements, new exposure, new PR, advertising that you're doing, new branding that you're doing, people that you're meeting. Look, it just goes on and on and on. Focus on, what are we going to do? What is the wood? What is the fuel? The fuel of our business is not the new money, okay? It's not money. Money is not, I mean, it could be. It's one fuel, right? Money's one fuel that adds value to the company, but it's not the only thing. What about the goodwill? What are we doing with charities in the community? How are we helping another business? Who have we reached out to? How have we helped? What are we working on, okay? What is the progress we're looking forward to? Sustain your obsession with your company. How do you do that? How do you do it as an individual? I've talked about how to do it as a company, but how do you as an individual? For 30 years, people have asked me this question. Dude, how do you keep sustaining your interest? That's really the question. How do you sustain an interest in the company? You know, it's kind of easy to do it when you're freaking poor. You're not trying to sustain something. Maybe you are. You're trying to eat, man. You're trying to eat. Okay? What happens when you finally can eat? You know, you're no longer worried about basic necessities anymore. Look, a lot of companies have a problem with this because 21 million out of 28 million small businesses have no employees. So they have basically, they're sustaining by reducing. I talked about this in the chapter on igniting your obsession. How to ignite your obsession is one thing. One way to ignite the obsession is to keep hiring people, right? I keep hiring people. I have to keep reigniting. The people reignite my purpose. But how do you sustain it? Another way to sustain your company is to continue to hire people, continue to look for new people. Look, the moment you go sit on the sides, the bleachers, go sit in the bleachers, and you're just going to watch the game. The moment you continue, I have a guy doing this right now. I said, dude, I think you're out of the game now. I think you're sitting on the sidelines. You're not hiring people. You're not looking for people. How can you sustain your growth if you're not going to keep looking for new people? You're making a commitment to staying small. You're trying to dumb down. You're trying to small down. It's a dumb down. It's a dumb down, right? You're trying to like, okay, I'm just going to preserve the money we make every month for another number of years. Dude, if you're doing this, you're out of the game. You're done. You're toast. Sustain the growth with new investments, with new hires, with new innovations, by going to new seminars, by reading new books, right? By listening to podcasts, by grabbing video content. Stay in the game. I'm going to a conference this weekend. I leave Sunday. Why am I going to that conference? One, I'm going to speak. Number two, I'm going to be seen. Number three, I'm not going for the money, okay? I'm going to be seen. I'm going to speak, and I'm going to learn. It sustains, it enriches. It enriches and sustains the fuel inside me, the fire inside me to keep going, right? I buy a plane. You buy a plane? Dude, that's equipment. That's a facilities investment. I'm investing in facilities. I'm investing in facilities so I can sustain my growth, my business, my survivability, if you will. All right, so what are you taking away from this? What did you hear that you like, that you need here? See, most people that I meet don't want to spend money. You guys don't want to spend money. You have this thing inverted like I did for 25 years. You want to make money without spending money. It's impossible. You're making baby money. You're worried about $5,000 a month, and you need to be worried about $500,000 a month. Then there's other people that aren't worried about the money at all. Well, dude, that's what a business is, to make money. You need to make money. The median wage in America, I just wrote an article, why wages are flat in America. They're like this. They're 54,000 down to 49,000, adjusted for inflation over the last, since 2000. That's 14 years. If I go back 25 years, I'm going to see like an irreversible trend going this way. Why is that? Well, I mean, I can tell you political reasons why it is. I can tell you that we're exporting jobs all over the world, and we're going to continue to do that. I could tell you that it's because we tax corporations and companies too heavily in America. But the bottom line, none of that, maybe that's going to change, maybe it's not, I don't know, right? I do know this. If you're dependent upon a wage in America, and you're comparing your median wage to other people's, and you're not taking into account the other dynamics and factors from outside that are pressing on you, you will not sustain the survivability of your finances. It is impossible. Too many pressures from the outside. So one of the things I do to sustain, add to, and grow and expand is I read the news in order to deal with the reality of the situation, so I know what's necessary. I need money. I need money to grow my business. Okay? I need money to grow my business, to continue to expand, because expansion is necessary for sustaining. You cannot sustain with one nut through the winter, or two nuts. That winter may last longer than you think. So I need to be willing to waste money in order to get money. I need to waste expansion in order to be able to sustain. I need to be willing to literally fail with hiring people in order to get one or two people that can grow my company and my business and my brand. See, everybody's like, I can't find any good people, because you quit. You quit trying to find people. You quit trying to, the worst hire that I've ever had, I'm thinking about one chick we hired. I'll tell you two guys that we hired a while back. They produced nothing for me. Nothing. They left, and then they sued me, saying I was unfair to them. The two of them got together and trying to sue me. So they're going to cost me legal money that I'm going to fight. So what? So what, man? So what? Okay? I need the story. I need the fodder. I need the fire. I need the kindle. I need the wood. I need the chips. I need the failures. You get it? I need all that. That is part of the business. You can't sustain a business without those stories. Okay? They're slackers. They're criminals. They're punks. So what? So what? I got to keep moving. I could say that about some of my clients. I got clients that aren't good. I was talking to a guy yesterday. We're working a deal. He's pitched the deal 95 times. He's like, I told this guy 90 times what we got to do. He doesn't understand. I said, dude, you got to be ready to tell the guy another 45 times. You're getting closer every day. Or quit. But quit bitching. Quit or quit bitching. Quit or quit bitching. It's part of the game. Right? You guys got it? So this is the last chapter of Obsessed. How to sustain your obsession, the company's obsession. The last question here is, how do you sustain an obsession in others? Well, that's going to start with you. It's not going to start with them. Okay? If you're lucky enough to ever find anybody, if you're going to ever find anybody that is obsessed already with your company, you're the luckiest guy in the world. And if they're more obsessed than you are, they're going to leave you anyway. So the two of you got to be obsessed, and then you got to find a third person that's going to be obsessed. Get obsessed or be average. Get obsessed and learn to sustain that obsession by surrounding yourself with other people. What should be my next book title? Sustain that success, that obsession. Sustain that success. Or, you know what? Know that it's going to go away. It's going to go away, and you're going to get obsessed with something else. Everybody's obsessed with something. It's a freaking joke. Psychiatrist told me one day, "You're obsessed, you know?" I said, "Yeah, I sure am. Thank you very much for noticing." Okay? I'm not paying you to notice that I'm obsessed, dude. I am obsessed. I'm a freaking maniac. I'm a man in action. Maniac. Short for man in action. I am a maniac, dog. Short for man in action. You feeling what I'm putting out? I'm gonna go from $350 million in real estate to $1 billion in the next 18 months. I must be a man in action. I told the psychiatrist, I am a maniac, okay? Suck my maniac. I'm in your face, buddy, and I'm not stopping, okay? Your little business is going to make what? What are you going to make this year, $130,000? Look, I'm a maniac. I'm hiring people. I hire more people than you see, than you have clients. Okay, I don't need you to tell me I'm a maniac. I already know I'm a maniac. Everybody's a maniac, dude. What, are you kidding yourself? Everybody is. Everybody is. It's what are you a maniac on or about? What are you obsessed about? If you're not obsessed about the things that will sustain your expansion and your growth, you're obsessed about a bunch of other bullshit. Period. Everybody's obsessed, folks. What are you going to add? What are you going to fuel, man? What are you going to focus on? What are you going to grow every day? What are you going to sustain? What are you going to eat? What's in your refrigerator? What are you going to read? See, what you surround yourself, the immersion, if you can immerse yourself with the right books, the right programs, the right workshops, the right people, immerse yourself, you will sustain the growth and the obsessions that are healthy for you. I'm obsessed with hiring people. I'm obsessed with new talent. I'm obsessed with reading. I'm obsessed with learning. I'm obsessed with, see, these need to be your callings. I'm obsessed with work. I'm obsessed with communicating. I'm obsessed with streams. I'm obsessed with new friends. I'm obsessed with expansion. Look, I'm obsessed with so many positive things. I don't have time for drugs and alcohol and weekends and laziness and sloth and criticism and gossip. I don't have time. See what I'm doing? All I'm doing is starving out. I'm like that St. Augustine grass that I grew up with in Louisiana. The grass is so freaking thick. The weeds can't even grow, man. The weeds can't grow through the St. Augustine. It's so tight. Right? Plant something, folks. Plant something. What are you obsessed with? You obsessed with the condition of your body? Good, man. Until that becomes your only obsession. You're an actor, you're obsessed with acting? Good. Until you can't pay for your bills, okay? So you're going to have to figure out, man, you got to expand this obsession. You got to expand it so that you can actually get paid. You should not be obsessed with, I'm an artist and I'm a starve. You got to shift that. I'm an artist and I'm making money. Lots of money, right? And then sustain that obsession by adding fuel to it, adding the right people that think that way. Okay? By adding the right actions that get you that. If you're in sales, be obsessed with being the best in sales. Be the greatest in sales. Be known for sales. As a young salesperson, at the age of 25 years old, I said, you know what? I'm going to be known one day as one of the greats. I'm going to be known as somebody that, I'm not talking about the best salesman where I worked. I'm going to be known as one of the greatest salesmen that have ever lived on the planet. See, when you make that, your commitment alone can literally be a sustaining act. The commitment to greatness, to some absurd unbelievable, big, giant, ridiculous, out of reach goal can actually be fuel or a commitment, or not, commitment's probably the wrong word, but it can be something that can actually sustain if you can continue to add wood to that all the time and not give up on it. You know, here 27 years later, one of my books is considered one of the top 10 inspirational books of all time, with Napoleon Hill and Steve Covey and Og Mandino. I mean, that's major. So that's the trick, okay? How do you sustain your commitment? Stay inspired, stay motivated every day. I know this. I continue to hire new people. I continue to invest in my brand. I continue to show up at workshops. I continue to show up at conferences. I continue to read books. I continue to listen to audio programs. I continue to educate myself. I continue to bring new people in that know more than I know. I continue to invest in branding and advertising, right? I continue to show up at work every day. I continue to work out my body. I continue to pay attention to my family and my kids. I'm up at 6 this morning taking my kids on my little ritual run every morning, okay? Spend time with them every night. I invest in service and facilities and equipment, right? I go buy a plane at 57 years old so that I can get around the country. That's a major, major investment. Nobody would make sense of it. The CPA's losing his mind. The CFO's going crazy. The sales department's like, oh my God, what's that going to cost us? It's not going to cost us anything. Okay? A plane does not cost you anything if you use it correctly. That plane was a commitment. A commitment. One of the biggest financial commitments I've made was that plane in allowing me to sustain my growth and my expansion, my stories, my brand, okay? All right, you got it? Hope you guys like that. I hope you get the book when it comes out. Big mistake people are making is they're not paying attention to their obsession. Dude, pay attention to your healthy obsessions. I'm not talking about the negative ones. I'm talking about feed the beast. Feed the beast, dude. Feed the beast. Feed those obsessions that are healthy, that are good for you, that are good for others, that are good for your community and your church. I'm a maniac, baby. I am a man in action. Maniaction. Maniaction, okay? All right, you guys be great today. I'm going to go do my sales meeting. I'm having a big day today. Walking into our building here. I want you to have an awesome day. Ladies.
Good morning.
Have an awesome, awesome day. Be great. You know what I'm going to tell you now. Be great.